Let's play a game of linear checkers. We take a 3x12 board, have your pieces all the way on the left, and my pieces all the way on the right. Each turn, the active player will move any one of their chips to the left or to the right, any number of squares. You must make a move, and you cannot go up or down. For example, at the beginning of the game, with you going first, you must move a piece to the right because there's no space to go to the left. So you might open like that. On my first turn, I might move my piece all the way to there, and then maybe on your next turn, you could go like that. Chips cannot occupy the same square. So it would be illegal for me on my next turn to move my top piece all the way over on top of your piece like that. Similarly, there's no jumping of chips, so I couldn't place it there either. The game will continue until the active player cannot move. At that point, they will lose, and the other player will win. Here's your puzzle. You go first. Design a strategy that guarantees you the win. And if that's too simple, think about how to optimally play this game for any number of rows, be it 1, 2, 3, 5, 1,000, or whatever. And while you think about that, check out some of these cool books that I've written. Your hint for today comes out of Chapter 2 of Game Theory 101, the complete textbook. You should use backward induction to think about what the end of this game looks like, and how to optimally play that end game, and then use that information to inform what you should be doing earlier on in the game. Are you ready for the solution? The first step is to realize that the end of the game must look like this if you are going to win. All of my pieces must be all the way to the right, and all of your pieces must be flush up against mine. When it's my turn, I can't move anywhere to the left because I'm not allowed to go on top or jump your pieces, and I can't go to the right because there's no real estate over there. The next important thing to realize is that having your pieces flush up against mine anywhere on the board at the end of your turn allows you to win. That's because I must move one of my pieces to the right on my turn. But you can just follow me exactly the way that I went, so that at the end of your turn, your pieces are once again flush up against mine. And if we repeat that process enough times, eventually what's going to happen is that all of my pieces will drift all the way to the right, and because you're following me all the way there, your pieces will be up against mine, and we'll be back into that situation where you have won the game. Because once you move this final piece there, I'm locked in. Now that you're armed with those hints, if you haven't already figured out the solution to this game, you might want to pause and reconsider it. And if you're still struggling, here's a deeper clue. On your opening move of the game, you should move one of your pieces all the way to the right. Do you see it now? If you look at the top row, there are exactly 10 open squares. It turns out there are also exactly 10 open squares in the middle row. Do you see how to form the winning strategy here? On my turn, I am obligated to move one of my top 2 pieces to the left. Perhaps like this. There are now 8 open squares up top and 10 open squares in the middle. If you follow up by moving your middle piece 2 to the right, you have gone back to a balance between the top 2 rows. 8 open squares up top and 8 in the middle. And indeed, no matter what I do on my turn, you are always capable of recreating the balance at the end of your turn. For example, if I moved my top piece one to the left, you could then follow by moving your middle piece one to the right. And we're at 7-7. If I then move my middle piece to the left by 1, there are 6 open squares in the middle, and you can recreate the balance by moving your piece up top to the right by 1, so that there are now 6 open squares up top. But you're not always going to want to follow what I am doing in the opposite direction in the opposite row. For instance, suppose I moved my top piece to the right by 1 on my subsequent turn. The gap is now 7 large up top and 6 large in the middle. If you were to move your middle piece back by 1, you would recreate the balance, but you also wouldn't progress toward ending the game. And in fact, we could just end up in an infinite loop and basically wind up with a draw. Instead, you should follow me, taking your top piece over to the right by 1 square. That gives 6 openings up top and 6 openings in the middle. Still maintaining the balance, but shifting the game further to the right, which is advantageous for you if you actually want to finish the match. The rest of this is academic. If I were to move all the way over there and only leave one spot in between us in the middle, you would do the same up top. I might follow by sealing it up top, and then you seal it in the middle, and we know from before that you win from here. If you understand what's going on with 3 rows, generalizing the game is straightforward. For an odd number of rows, you begin the game by taking one of your pieces and moving it all the way over to the right. The remaining number of rows must be even, and from there, you simply pair them up, perhaps the top 2, and then the next 2 down. Now you just follow the general principles from before, ensuring that at the end of your turn, for any pair of rows, the number of open spaces in each of those 2 rows is equal. Unfortunately, that means your prospects are hopeless when there are an even number of rows to begin. Now I can adopt that pairing strategy, taking the top 2 rows, then the middle 2 rows, and then the bottom 2 rows, and ensuring that there's equality within each of those sectors at the end of my turn, and in turn, forcing you to lose. Did you figure this one out? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Take care.